on July 7th of 1999, we are about to reach the 22nd anniversary of this disappearance, and it is said that he probably went missing between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. He has never been seen again. Hi there, my little demons and divas. Bienvenidos. Welcome back to my channel. ¿Qué es la que hay, mi gente? Estamos activados, estamos encendidos. It is I, Isa, aka the Demon Diva, and today I'm bringing this back, and I'm happy to be bringing this series back because when I originally started it, I wanted to, I don't know, just put out there some of the stories, crazy crimes. Like, I'm really into spooky stuff, true crime, serial killers, unsolved mysteries. And I feel like growing up in Puerto Rico, there was so many stories to be told that when I look them up today, you really can't find any info on them. So I want to keep those stories alive by just putting a record of these things on the internet. But I'm as excited as I am to be bringing it back. I'm a little bit sad about the tale that I'm covering today, the case, which is still to this day, 22 years later, unsolved. And that is the case of Rolandito Salas Jusino. In Puerto Rico, we know him as Rolandito. ¿Dónde estás, Rolandito? A case that was so infamous, it took over the news, it made international news, and even still to this day, if you guys have listened to Bad Bunny's song in regards to this case, which if you're familiar with this case, that song will have you in tears because Bad Bunny sings it as if he was Rolandito, the missing child. Se me dañó el GPS a mitad de camino y no sé si me raptaron, estoy perdido. Before I get into the details of this case, what happens, and the theories that have emerged, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for all the support. I know this video is a little bit different than what I usually do, but I have been wanting to add different content to my channel, so I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm a sucker for a good true crime, unsolved mystery, unsolved crime video. So I hope you guys like this. In addition to that, all of my social media is in the description box below. If you would like to go follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, I am active in all of them. But without further ado, let me get started with this incredible tale. I was in high school when this happened, and I still remember it to this day, and I still remember people always wondering what happened to Rolandito, and everybody creating their own theories, their wild theories about what happened to Rolandito. Rolando Salas Jusino, known as Rolandito, was a boy who went missing while playing unsupervised at a local park. There have been many alleged sightings of him, but none were confirmed. To this day, the case remains unsolved. Let me give you all of the details on this tragic tale. Okay, so Rolandito was last seen playing unsupervised in a park in Urbanización Colinas de Plata near his home in Tualta, Puerto Rico. Rolandito was only 4 years old when he went missing. Roberto Gotay, Rolando's stepfather, was a big suspect in the case for a time due to prison inmates. He ended up going to jail later on for a theft-related, not Rolandito-related charges, other charges. But some of his inmates overheard him telling people that he had murdered the child and buried him in a farm in Puerto Rico. This story has never been verified, but a couple of these inmates came forward to the police and told them that they did hear him tell stories about how he was guilty of that. In addition to that, he had visited, him and Rolandito's mom were not together at the time, and he had visited her earlier on the day, and it is tales say that they had a confrontation, they had a fight, and there was a kid that says that he saw somebody call Rolandito by name and made him get in the car, and the car was a black van, which they'll say that that is what his stepfather used to drive. So in Puerto Rico, it's a lot of people think that it was the stepfather who had something to do with it. But again, nothing has ever been confirmed. The stepfather went to prison, but it was on other cases, like it was on a theft related cases. It had nothing to do with the death of Rolandito. Rolandito's disappearance was widely covered in the news media in Puerto Rico and Latin America. There was a theory that his disappearance was drug related, that maybe his parents were involved in some kind of drug deal gone wrong, or they owed some kind of money related to drugs, so they took Rolandito as payment. But that was quickly dismissed by the police, as nobody in the family members were known to have been involved in any kind of drug deals. In addition to that, there were many alleged sightings of Rolandito, including Dominican Republic, Spain, and a lot of them in the mainland in the United States, including New York and New Jersey. None of them confirmed. This case, to this day, still remains unsolved. um like I said, theory about the stepdad is probably the strongest one for me, because there was like tales that he said that he would tell the mom, I'm gonna get you where it hurts the most. Why wouldn't he try to get, Rolandito? I think that's probably the most suspect person, but he's never been proven. The farmland that the stepdad owned was actually dug up, but nothing was found. A few years after Rolandito's disappearance, there was a medium who came through and said that was getting she knew where Rolandito was. So she took the police, and they went with cadaver dogs to a farm in Utuado, Puerto Rico, where this medium insisted that that's where Rolandito was buried, but nothing was found. A couple of years ago, I think it was in 2014, there was body parts found, and people suspected that it was of Rolandito, but again, it was not Rolandito. And in addition to that, there was also a theory that because Rolandito was asthmatic, maybe he had an asthma attack and nobody helped him, but that is definitely not likely, since Rolandito was playing right behind his house. If that was the case, he would have passed out, somebody would have found the body. They lived in a suburban area. It's not like there was a country or animals could have taken him. And again, I really go back to the kid that says that he saw Rolandito get in that black van. That really just gets to me, because growing up in Puerto Rico, we all like go to the parks and we play unsupervised, especially if the park is literally by your house. So I can just totally wonder, why didn't they look more into that testimony? The FBI and the Interpol have said the case is still active. However, the case is as cold as the North Pole for the past decade. The case did see some. It got media attention, and it woke back up back in 2019 when Bad Bunny released his album Por Siempre, which he dedicated to growing up in Puerto Rico. I'm sure he remembers it, because I remember this case vivid. Bad Bunny has a song called Rolandito, well, RLNDT. And that song is dedicated to Rolandito, and it alludes to the disappearance of Rolando, especially there's a line in the song. Like I mentioned earlier, he's singing it as if he's Rolandito, and he says, I don't know if they kidnapped me or if I am lost. The case shook many parents at the time, since the minor disappeared without a trace. Even 19 years after his disappearance, the image of Rolandito's missing poster is still, that is the one thing that I will never forget, is that picture of Rolandito with his cute little face. That poster was everywhere. And if you grew up in the island around that time, you most likely have to remember this case. And it probably still breaks your heart to know that there was never any resolution to this case. Rolandito was found. His body has never been found, and it's sad. It's a very, very sad case, and I hope that it eventually gets somewhere. I saw an interview while researching for this video where his dad is like, I still have hope. And that is his only child, and he never went on to have any other children. So he spent his life trying to find Rolandito back, and that is just heartbreaking. That is it for this video. There isn't a lot. This case just completely went cold from the beginning. I think the only solid suspect that they have was the stepfather, but they could never prove that he had anything to do with it. So it really didn't go anywhere. And if you're familiar with this case, let me know in the comments down below if you have heard of it. What are your own theories about this? Do you think that somebody kidnapped him? Do you think they took him to maybe some of these alleged sightings of him in DR, Spain, or New York, New Jersey? maybe he did get kidnapped and maybe trafficked. Like back then, human trafficking was not as, I mean, I'm sure it was as big as it is now, but maybe not, we weren't as aware of it. So I feel like, I don't know how a younger generation feels listening to that song, but listening to Bad Bunny's song dedicated to Rolandito always just makes my heart, it makes me sad, because I remember talking about that with my parents, trying to figure out, well, what happened to him, you know? Toalta is such a little town, you just don't expect that to happen. And the fact that nothing ever came out of it. And even as I was researching for this, I wanted to bring this series back. I was like, I want to talk about something that really touched me. And I remember listening to the song recently and thinking, I can't believe nothing ever came out of this. So there you guys go. Let me know in the comments down below, again, if you're familiar with this case. What do you think happened to Rolandito? Do you think the stepfather has something to do with it? Do you think maybe they took him out of the island? And do you think he's still alive? This one is a tragic and a sad one, and I don't have a happy ending for this one. But I'm happy to be bringing tales from the island back, and until next time, adios. Mwah.
Hola, ¿quién soy? No sé, se me olvidó. Welcome to the demon level, body slam you through the rubble. Hosted by your demon diva, Queen of Sad Style Lisa. Champions and main events, hot and cold and all your questions right here, so tune right in. 1, 2, 3, we got you pinned.